Good morning, folks. Today I'm going to be replacing the carburetor on this 1971 9.5 power Johnson, which I bought new and have used continuously over the years since I've bought it. However, this year it is sitting in my basement while a 1983 7.5 horsepower Johnson is sitting in my boat because it's running a lot better. Now I've rebuilt all the electricals on this motor, and that all runs perfectly fine. And so I've decided that it must be the carburation that's given me the problem. I thought it had been rebuilt about 20 years ago, but apparently it hadn't. So I've taken it off, and I have it over here. I've already started to rebuild it. The carburetor's been totally cleaned. You can see I have all the needle valve. This is the other part of the carburetor. And my parts came, and I've started to put them all together. The old float that I have here was very, very bad. This whole assembly was loose and shaking around. The carburetor doesn't even sitting properly in the bowl. So I knew that was a problem right there. Next step is to get the whole thing put together and installed on the motor. This year, during the COVID-19 crisis, my nephew offered me two old motors to repair. One, a 3 horsepower 1953 Johnson, and a 1983 7.5 horsepower Johnson. Well, I got the 3 horsepower part and everything was corroded. Got it all fixed and running for about $70-something. And the 7.5, I got changed all the fuel pump and the carburetor, and I have a video on that. And that apparently was what the problem was with it. It runs beautiful. In fact, it runs so well. I was wondering what happened to my 9.5 that used to run so well. And I got to thinking that maybe I should take a look at the carburetor. It was supposedly repaired some years ago, but I'm not sure it was done like it should have been. Everything else has been changed. Magneto, points, everything looks really good. Fuel pump is new, the whole 9 yards. So I took the old carburetor off. I've got the carburetor all put together and all hooked up, and the high-speed needle valve, according to my original manual, it said 3/4 of a turn in, which I have done, and it is all set. The gas line is hooked up, choke is hooked up. I noticed a little bit of wear on one of the arms here, so I had to make an adjustment so it would open up the throttle properly. And that's about it. So my next step will be to put the motor together, put it on the boat, and test it out. See you then. In my previous video, I talked about bringing up the 9.5 horsepower and swap it for the Evinrude 7.5 that I have on my boat. Now, in the video before, I mentioned this Evinrude as being a Johnson, but it's really an Evinrude 7.5, 1983, and this is my 1971 9.5 horse. Now we're going to see how it works after I've rebuilt the carburetor. I've got the motor on the boat, and now I'm ready to give it a shot and see if it'll run. Okay, pull the choke out. Got it on start. Well, how about that? It started on the very first pull. Wow, that is something. Now we'll go out and see if it's going to run.